Hello, I'm Ian, I'm from Brinsea Products, and in this short video I'm going to run through a few tips on the setup of your ChickSafe henhouse door closer. So I've got a ChickSafe Eco here, but all these tips apply to the Advance as well. And the first thing I just want to run through is before you set up your ChickSafe, the first thing to say is don't fit the battery yet. Come back to that later. Connect up everything else first. And a few checks to run when you're hooking up your ChickSafe is to make sure firstly the door is very free to move. It's vital that the door doesn't jam, and if you've got a wooden door, it's particularly important because in different weather conditions, in cold or very wet conditions, it can bow and can jam. So make sure your door is moving very freely, and make sure also the door has a physical end stop at the bottom. It's very important because the way the ChickSafe operates is it detects the tension on the string. So as the door closes, it hits the bottom, and then the ChickSafe will realise that the string has gone slack and will turn the motor off. So it's very important the door has a physical stop like that. The door opens and closes a maximum of 400 millimeters. So the maximum range of movement is 400 mil, 15 inches. You can have less than that, but that's the maximum that it will raise and lower your door. And the last point to make before we connect it up is that the ChickSafe door needs to be no closer than an inch or 25 millimeters to the bottom of the ChickSafe. There needs to be a little bit of string between the two for it to operate properly. Okay, so I've now fitted the ChickSafe, I've connected the door, tied the string with a double knot, so I'm ready now to connect the batteries. So I've checked that they're in the right way round in the holder for the instructions. The string is nice and tight because it's supporting the weight of the door, and the door is in its open position. That's very important. So the ChickSafe now is doing its little initiation, and having done that, it's now operational. Okay, so your ChickSafe is now set up and it's in normal operation, and we know this because the red light is flashing every 30 seconds to indicate the status is normal. If you have an advanced ChickSafe, you can verify that the motor and the function is correct by manually pressing the buttons to get the door to close, and then you can reverse it back to its automatic state. The Eco only operates on light level. So if you do want to run a check to make sure it's operating properly and the door is going up and down smoothly, you will need to cover it to fool it into thinking that it's dark. So I've created a crude cardboard cover which I'll pop over the top, and now I'll need to leave that for maybe 10 minutes because the ChickSafe doesn't respond immediately to changes in light level. But in a few minutes it will decide that it's got dark and it will close the door. Okay, so the ChickSafe now is convinced itself that it's gone night time and it's closing the door. You don't have to use cardboard, by the way. You can use any material that's opaque. You could cover it with a dark cloth or something. Basically you've just got to reduce the light that gets to the ChickSafe, so you've obviously fooled it into thinking that it's after dark. So as the door closes, you'll notice that there's a little knot about halfway down the string. Don't remove that. That plays a vital part in the mechanism of the ChickSafe, so that's put in there in its manufacture and needs to remain in place. And so when the door gets to the bottom, it will automatically turn itself off. Okay, so we now know that the ChickSafe is operating normally, and we can remove the box. The door will then open after a few minutes and it's functioning correctly. So your ChickSafe Eco has the ability to adjust light sensitivity for the closing operation at the end of the day, the door closing time. So this means that you can adjust the time the door will close between a kind of a dusk light level and a very dark light level. It's quite a fine adjustment. You do it with a small flat bladed screwdriver like this one, and if you look in from the top of your ChickSafe, you'll see a small, it's quite tiny, metal screw which, if you turn clockwise, will extend the time that the door will close. So it will close a little later and in darker conditions. If you turn it anti-clockwise, it will turn a little bit earlier in slightly lighter conditions. If you want to reset it to factory settings, then rotate the screw 20 turns clockwise and then 5 turns anti-clockwise to take you back to original settings. And the other thing I'll say about that is that it is quite a fine adjustment, and it won't help you if you want to test the function of your ChickSafe. You do that, as I said before, by covering it, as I've explained in this video. So I also just wanted to mention the red flashing indicator light on your ChickSafe Eco. This tells you a number of different things. If the light is flashing a single flash, that's indicating the door is open. If it's a double flash, that means that the door is closed. And it's also quite useful because if it's giving you a double flash with the door in its open or partially open position, then that is an indicator that there's something jammed or the cord has got tangled, so it needs investigation. The other thing the light tells you is the status of the battery. So I've put fresh batteries in this one and it's flashing every 30 seconds. Now as the batteries degrade, that interval between flashes reduces. So fresh batteries is about 30 seconds. As they start to degrade, then the interval reduces to 10 seconds, and then once it's flashing every second, that's a good indication the batteries are nearing the end of their life and need changing. And I would always suggest, because this is a multifunction light, when you change your batteries, just check that the door and the cord are still operating properly. There's no jam, and the door is free to move, the cord is in good condition, and replacing the batteries, you'll be away again for probably another 6 months. Okay, so in this last section I'm going to look at fixing a fault condition, and this has occurred because I've connected the battery before I've connected the door. It can also happen if the door becomes detached, if the string, the knot comes undone in the string, or the string is broken and the tension is lost. Basically, that's the crucial point. So we can put this back to its original factory settings before we then reconnect it. First thing to say is that it needs to be in the upright position, so best to leave it mounted on the hen house. Next, we're going to just disconnect the battery. So the easiest way of doing that is just to unplug it, and now we're going to leave it for 1 minute before we reconnect it and go through a small procedure. Okay, so we've waited for just over a minute there, and the next step in the process is to gently apply tension to the string. You don't have to tug it very hard, just a little bit of tension before we reconnect the battery. So pop the battery back in place, and in a moment there'll be a little movement on the string, which is its reset process. This might go, if your string is a lot further out, then it will need to withdraw back into the ChickSafe again, so keep the tension on the string until it's stopped moving. Then I can let go of the string and disconnect the battery. Now the ChickSafe is back into its original factory settings, and you can hook up the door, connect it to the string, refit the battery, cover on the top, and it'll be operational for you. Thanks for watching.